A young woman named Gabby Petito, known as Gabby, embarks on a cross-country trip across America with her boyfriend Brian Laundrie. They share their adventures on social media, and their videos and photos quickly gain popularity. However, what was meant to be a dream trip soon turns into a nightmare. At the end of August 2021, Gabby stops communicating. Her family raises the alarm, and the media begins to cover this mysterious story. The traces of her disappearance lead us to Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming. What really happened to Gabby Petito? Let's delve into this story and try to figure it out. In mid-September, Brian returns home alone, refusing to provide any explanations. The police begin an investigation, gradually uncovering the dark details of their journey. Numerous witnesses recall quarrels and tense moments between the couple, raising many questions. Soon, a full-scale search operation begins, leading to shocking discoveries. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie started their trip across the USA in July 2021 in a white Ford Transit van, specially equipped for comfortable living on the road. The couple planned to visit numerous national parks and reserves, documenting their journey on social media. Their Instagram and YouTube channels featured colorful photos and videos where they shared their impressions and joy of spending time together. Outwardly, their life seemed perfect, a young couple enjoying freedom and nature. However, behind this facade were strained relationships that no one suspected. The situation changed in mid-August 2021 when Gabby and Brian came to the attention of the police in Moab, Utah. On August 12th, witnesses reported a quarrel between the couple. The police stopped their van, and body camera footage shows Gabby crying and talking about the stress she was experiencing. Brian, on the other hand, appears calm, explaining it as travel fatigue. The police did not arrest either of them but recommended spending the night separately to reduce tension. This incident was the first alarming sign that could have prevented the further tragedy if it had been taken more seriously. A few weeks later, at the end of August, Gabby stopped communicating with her family. The last message received from her on August 30th was strange and uncharacteristic. It said, "No service in Yosemite." This message raised suspicions in her mother, as the style and content were not typical of Gabby. On September 1st, Brian Laundrie returned home alone in the van they used for the trip. He refused to explain Gabby's whereabouts and did not communicate with her family. Soon, Gabby's parents reported her missing and the police began an investigation. Gabby's disappearance became a hot topic in the news, causing a wide public resonance. Questions multiplied. Why did Brian return alone? Why didn't he report her disappearance? Why doesn't he cooperate with the police? These questions became central to the investigation and attracted nationwide attention to the case. On September 14th, his parents informed the police that he went to the Carlton Reserve but did not return. The police and FBI launched a large-scale search operation, including the use of drones, dogs, and volunteers. Despite weeks of searching, no traces of Brian were found. His disappearance raised many questions and suspicions. Some believed he might be hiding with his parents' help, while others thought he might have taken his own life. The search for Brian became another dramatic chapter in this tragic story. Search operations involved dozens of specialists and volunteers, but despite all efforts, finding his traces was long unsuccessful. This added more drama and uncertainty to an already complex case, causing more speculation and theories in society. On September 19, 2021, remains later identified as Gabby Petito's body were found in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming. She was discovered in a remote area where the couple had reportedly spent time in the last days before her disappearance. The police and FBI confirmed that her death was a homicide. This discovery shocked the public and made everyone realize that Gabby had become a victim of a brutal crime. From this point, the investigation entered a new phase, with the primary goal being to find the perpetrator. The discovery of Gabby's body became a turning point, leading to new revelations and the uncovering of the truth. The forensic examination determined the cause of death as strangulation, further confirming the version of a violent death. This discovery caused a wave of grief and indignation across the country, drawing attention to the issue of violence in relationships. Immediately after the discovery of Gabby's body, the police and the public began to question the motives for the murder. New facts emerged about the nature of Gabby and Brian's relationship. Friends and close ones talked about frequent quarrels, jealousy, and controlling behavior from Brian. These testimonies became crucial for understanding what could have led to the tragedy. The police also considered other versions, including the possibility of third-party involvement, but all evidence pointed to Brian. His sudden disappearance only increased suspicions. It became increasingly clear that he might be the main suspect in the case. Psychologists working on such cases noted that Brian's behavior matched the profile of a person prone to relationship violence. His jealousy and control over Gabby, according to her friends, reached extremes, which could have led to a fatal conflict. Simultaneously, the police gathered testimonies from numerous witnesses who saw the couple in the days leading up to Gabby's disappearance. Some recalled Brian's strange behavior, his aggressiveness, and nervousness. One witness saw the couple arguing in a restaurant in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Others saw Brian acting unusually in a parking lot. These testimonies became key in the investigation, helping to reconstruct Gabby's last days. They added important details to the overall picture and helped understand what happened in those fateful days. One witness, who saw the couple together for the last time, noted that Brian appeared extremely nervous and aggressive, while Gabby looked depressed and scared. These testimonies were important in confirming the violent nature of their relationship and Brian's possible motive. The focus also turned to Brian's parents, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie. Their actions after their son's return raised many questions. Why didn't they immediately report his disappearance to the police? Why didn't they help in the search for Gabby? These questions remained unanswered, fueling suspicions. The police began to consider the possibility of their involvement in concealing the crime or aiding Brian in escaping. The public demanded answers and justice for Gabby, and Brian's parents became the target of criticism and suspicion. Some suspected that the parents might have knowingly hidden Brian's whereabouts and helped him avoid arrest. Their refusal to cooperate with the police and avoiding contact with the press only intensified these suspicions. Questions about whether they knew about their son's involvement in Gabby's disappearance remained unanswered, increasing public outrage. Meanwhile, during the investigation, the police accessed the phones and computers of Gabby and Brian. Analyzing their correspondence, calls, and social media activity provided new clues about what happened in the last days before Gabby's disappearance. It turned out that there were frequent conflicts and tense moments between them. Some messages indicated that Gabby feared for her life. These findings became crucial in understanding the dynamics of their relationship and Brian's motives. Each new detail added important elements to the overall picture, but the full picture was still unclear. The analysis of the correspondence showed that Gabby often expressed concerns about Brian's aggressive behavior and even discussed with friends the possibility of breaking up. These data became important evidence, confirming the version that the relationship was far from perfect and could have led to the tragedy. These grim assumptions were confirmed on October 20, 2021, after weeks of searching, when Brian Laundrie's remains were found in the Carlton Reserve. His body was discovered near personal belongings, including a backpack and a notebook. Forensic examination confirmed that Brian had taken his own life. In his notebook, the police found a confession to Gabby's murder. This shocking revelation brought the investigation to a close and shed light on many questions. The public and Gabby's loved ones finally got answers, although many questions remained unanswered. This revelation became the culmination of the tragic story, leaving behind bitterness and many reflections. In Brian's notebook, found near his body, there were entries confirming his guilt in Gabby's murder. These confessions gave the police and the public a clear understanding of what happened, but did not take away all the pain and bitterness of loss for Gabby's family. Immediately after Gabby's disappearance was announced, the media and social networks began actively covering the case. The story gained enormous resonance thanks to the participation of thousands of people who followed every step of the investigation. Support groups appeared on social networks where people shared their thoughts and theories. The active participation of the public put pressure on law enforcement agencies, stimulating them to take more active measures. At the same time, attention to this case raised questions about other missing persons who did not receive the same public resonance. Questions about why some cases get more attention than others raised important topics about equality and justice in covering such tragedies. Social media played an important role in the investigation, where the couple actively shared their photos and videos. Analyzing these materials helped reconstruct the chronology of events and determine Gabby and Brian's location on different days. Videos and posts on Instagram and YouTube became important evidence confirming their routes and interactions. This also helped reveal changes in Gabby's behavior, which could indicate problems in her relationship with Brian. Public comments and discussions on social networks also helped draw attention to important details that could have been missed by the police. Important evidence, such as changes in communication style and emotions in the videos, helped the police build a more complete picture of the events. FBI agents actively participated in the investigation of Gabby's disappearance. They provided their expert support and resources, including forensic laboratories and specialized teams. Cooperation with federal agencies helped speed up the process of analyzing evidence and conducting search operations. The FBI also coordinated interactions between different law enforcement agencies, contributing to a more effective investigation. Their experience and resources were invaluable in search operations and digital evidence analysis. FBI specialists helped establish precise timelines of events and analyze the suspect's behavior, which was key to the investigation. Gabby Petito's case attracted attention not only in the U.S. but also abroad. The story was covered in international news outlets, drawing attention to issues of domestic violence and violence in relationships. International resonance helped increase pressure on law enforcement agencies and stimulate public discussions on safety in relationships. Support from different parts of the world showed how relevant and important this problem is for everyone. In various countries, discussions began about the need to improve the legal framework and support mechanisms for victims of violence, which can be considered an important social effect of this tragic case. After Gabby's disappearance and subsequent events, her family received significant support from the public. Crowdfunding campaigns were organized, helping cover search and legal expenses. Charitable organizations also offered their assistance, supporting the family during this difficult period. These efforts showed how public support can play an important role in tragic situations. Financial assistance allowed the family to focus on seeking justice and supporting other victims of violence. This support also became a symbol of solidarity and a shared fight for truth and justice. During the investigation, psychologists and experts on relationship violence were actively involved. Their opinions helped better understand the dynamics of Gabby and Brian's relationship, identify signs of controlling behavior and emotional violence. Psychologists also provided support to Gabby's family, helping them cope with grief and trauma. Experts on relationship violence gave important comments on the signs and symptoms of such situations, helping many understand the seriousness of the problem. These professional opinions became an important part of discussing and analyzing this tragic case, providing valuable insights for preventing similar situations in the future. Brian Laundrie's family found themselves at the center of public and media attention. Their behavior after their son's return raised many questions and suspicions. Brian's parents faced criticism and accusations of concealing information. This put enormous pressure on them, forcing them to seek help from lawyers and psychologists. Their actions and decisions were carefully analyzed, and society was divided in opinions about their involvement. Despite all the difficulties, they continued to support their son, causing mixed feelings in the public and increasing tension around the case. As a result of this tragedy, funds and public organizations dealing with issues of domestic violence and relationship violence were created. Gabby's family actively participates in these initiatives, striving to prevent similar cases in the future. These efforts include educational programs, support for victims of violence, and drawing attention to the problem. Gabby's memory has become a driving force for many activists and organizations working to improve support systems for victims. These campaigns help raise awareness and attract resources to fight relationship violence. Gabby Petito's tragedy has become an important lesson for society. It highlighted the need for more careful attention to signs of violence in relationships, improving the work of law enforcement agencies, and the need for public support. This story made many think about the safety and protection of victims of violence, as well as the importance of timely intervention. Numerous discussions and legislative initiatives resulted from this case, aimed at improving support systems for victims of violence. This case also emphasized the importance of public attention and support in resolving such tragedies. The memory of Gabby Petito will live on in the hearts of many people. Her story has become a symbol of the fight against violence and injustice, Family and friends continue to remember her as a bright and kind person who brought joy to many people's lives. In her honor, events, actions, and charitable events are held, aimed at supporting victims of violence and the missing. Gabby's memory inspires many people to take actions aimed at helping and supporting others, and her legacy continues to live on in actions that help change the world for the better. Gabby Petito's death was a true tragedy that attracted the attention of millions of people around the world. This story revealed many issues, from domestic violence to shortcomings in the work of law enforcement agencies. Gabby's family continues to fight for justice, founding funds and organizations to help victims of domestic violence. This tragedy reminds us of the importance of paying attention to loved ones and the need for timely intervention in cases of suspected violence. Subscribe to our channel to follow new stories and investigations. Leave comments and share your thoughts on the Gabby Petito case.